We live in a time when innovation and creativity are the path to autonomy, success, and unlimited potential. But our education system is trapped in the industrial age. We are still being fed the story that job security equals freedom. For many of us, that just isn't good enough. Every week, I'm bringing you the stories and experiences of entrepreneurs who don't accept the narrative that there is only one path to success. Their entrepreneurial journey is allowing them the freedom to prioritize both their businesses and their families. They are intentionally building a legacy to lead their family into a new era of innovation and growth. This is Our Modern Heritage Legacy Secrets, and I'm your host, Jody Chafee. Welcome to the show, Zak Harlow, aka the Sales Ninja. He's crazy passionate about his Ninja Nation tribe of insurance entrepreneurs that are bent on changing the game of B2B insurance sales. Simplify the game, become crazy profitable, and serve your clients better than ever. Even more than that, his beautiful bride, Laurel, and their 3-year-old twins, Walker and Kazlee. Is that how you say their name? Walker and
Kazlee,
Kazlee?
yep.
Kazlee. Okay,
Kazlee,
I don't want to
yep.
mess it up. He's learned how to be a loving husband, crazy active daddy, and serve his tribe all at the same time. Welcome, Zak. I'm so excited to talk about this.
Oh my gosh, Jody, thank you so much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure to get to hang out with you and your tribe today.
Nice. So cool. And I love how you were able to incorporate that this is your business and your family. All these things are important to you. So tell me a little bit more about your business. Just like an overview of your business.
Yeah, so my gosh, I have been in the world of entrepreneurism, I guess my entire life. I have never had a W-2 job of any kind. So entrepreneurism, it's all I've ever known. I've only ever worked for myself. And then over the years, in the last specifically 15 years, I have been building very large sales teams in the insurance marketplace. If you're familiar with carriers like Aflac, that is one of the largest carriers that I have been with for many, many, many years. And just recently, after 15 years with them, fully retired from being contracted with Aflac, and now we are in the process of continuing to build out independent insurance operations. And now I get to do sales consulting and coaching for independent insurance entrepreneurs that own and run their own book of business and are looking for ways to have a mentor guide them and just become more profitable than ever before. And my mantra is I believe that so much of the insurance sales process has become so overcomplicated. I could probably say that about most businesses. But we teach an extremely simple marketing strategy and the way that we build our clientele. And I just want to simplify the game for people and help them become more profitable. It's that simple.
That's awesome. And this really resonates with me because my dad was an insurance agent all my life. He still is. He's 70 and he still has his insurance office. My sister is taking it over. And
nice.
So business is like in my veins, and insurance is like in my veins, it's our family legacy in a way. So
fantastic.
That's really fascinating. I guess then if you've always been an entrepreneur, my question is why have you been, why did you choose the path of entrepreneurship? And also why have you chosen to stay an entrepreneur, I guess, since you've always been? I think that sometimes when people start or they get on this path of entrepreneurship, it gets scary, or we're always told that a secure job, quote unquote secure job, is the path to success, but that's not the route you ever wanted to take. Why is that?
Boy, that is a big question. So let me see if I can break that down a little bit without going into boring your listeners too much. But I think it really started it did start when I was a kid. When I was really young, and I watched, I guess I've always been quite observant, and I just watched not just my parents, but I watched my parents' circle, their circle of friends, and everybody had jobs, and they went to their work, and they did their work, and for whatever reason, we did not grow up with let's just call it forget disposable income. I grew up not poor, like I didn't grow up in poor necessarily, but I absolutely grew up. I can remember difficult days with mom and dad and them not having the money to pay all the bills, and certainly not do any of the crazy fun, adventuresome type of things. So, I looked at that model and I was like, I'm not interested in that. And then I just watched how hard my dad worked, and how much he gave so much time. Like he's probably the hardest working person I know, especially when I was growing up. And I was like, no way, man, if I'm going to work that hard, I'm going to figure out how to work that hard for me so that I can build something. And I didn't even know what to build, but I suppose the entrepreneurism bug bit me hard when I was about 14 or 15 years old. Didn't have the money to do things that teenagers want to do, didn't have the money to go to the movies. And I mean, mom and dad just didn't have it. It flat out wasn't going to happen. So if it was going to happen, Zach better figure out a way to make some dadgum money. So it's pretty simple. I found a lawnmower sitting in the garage and I started walking up and down the street on our neighborhood. And I was like, hey, for $10 or $15 or whatever it was all those years ago, can I mow your yard? I need to make some money. I need to raise some cash. And that bit me hard. The bug bit hard because none of my friends, if they didn't have mom and dad's checkbook, they didn't have any money. And here I was by the time I turned 15 years old, and then 16 years old, and I had actual money. Like I had a bank account, and I can remember I think I was 16 years old. I remember the very first time that I kept depositing these little $10 here and $15 there. And I remember a moment in life when all of a sudden I got my deposit slip back from the credit union, and all of a sudden it had a comma in it. And I was like, I'm rich. Like I thought I might as well have been a millionaire. I was like, here I am. I actually have a comma in my bank. I didn't even know you could get a comma. Like that was so amazing. And if that wasn't enough to just sink in the veins of entrepreneurship and working for yourself and building, then man, that was the moment I think that just absolutely solidified it for me. Now, that being said, you said something about challenges and disappointments and setbacks and problems.
We'll get to that in the next.
Oh yeah. Anybody listening to this podcast that's ever tried to build or grow or do anything in the world of entrepreneurism, we've gotten our butts kicked, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an awesome story. I love that. It's like, it reminded me a lot of like Rich Dad, Poor Dad type of a story where it's like, we have the poor mentality is, always trade your time for money. And then, but like the rich mentality is that you make your money work for you. So your time is like exponential when it comes to making money. It's there's just a different mentality, I think. And I think it's fascinating that you talked about growing up and how your adverse circumstances inspired you to be an entrepreneur. And that's something that, I talk about a lot, is how, we are always told growing up, like there's one traditional way to quote unquote success. And I love that you never accepted that. Like you were just like, no, that's not, I don't want to have to trade my time for money forever and have to work that hard to only make not enough to survive on. So.
Oh, sure. Jody, I wish I could tell you that I was that smart and that strategic all those years ago. That just wasn't, it really, I mean, if I'm being totally honest and transparent, it really boiled down to, I'd like to go to the movies with my friends. Well, I ain't got no money. Well, I guess I'm going to have to go find a way to get money. I mean, I think it was an evolution that one thing led to the other. I've only actually been on two job interviews, two what would have been a W-2 type of position where I got a paycheck. I've only been on two job interviews in my life. And one of them when I was maybe about 17 or 18 years old, I had now built my little lawn and landscape business. It was doing quite well. I mean, at 18 years old, I was making pretty decent money as a kid. And the only problem with lawn and landscape in West Texas is this thing called winter. And winter comes along, and when winter comes along, grass stops growing. And when grass stops growing, people stop paying me to cut it. And I was like, man, this sucks. I got to figure out a way to make money in the winter. So I thought, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go interview. I'm going to go get a job, and I'm going to get a job throughout the winter so I can at least still have some money coming in. And I remember, man, this has been, golly, I haven't told this story in forever. This is probably 20, 22, 23, 24 years ago. I remember sitting on Soncy Road in Amarillo, Texas, at an Office Max of all places. I had my dress slacks on. I'm a lawn and landscape kid in West Texas. I don't own dress slacks, but I went and got a pair for this interview at Office Max, and I'm interviewing with the what do you call them? The manager or whatever that hires for these little retail jobs.
HR, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And we go through the whole interview process, and then he tells me how much I would be getting paid, and I was like, what? And I mean, this is 20 years ago. I don't remember. It was like, let's say it was like $7 an hour or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just remember looking at it going, are you that's what a job is? And I remember ending the interview very quickly, thanking him for his time and walking out. And I decided, heck no. And then that born, actually over the next many years, I started a Christmas light design and installation service that over the years ended up in like 8 weeks of Christmas, we ended up doing more revenue in that than we did in the lawn and landscape business. It's crazy.
Wow. That is such a cool story. I love that. I love that because you had that entrepreneurial experience. You know, I think sometimes people go into those kind of interviews going, please hire me, please hire me. You know, like they just don't feel like they have any other option. And so this is like their last hope. But you were like, wait, I'm in control of this. No, thank you. You know, that's so cool that you had that mindset because you had that experience. That's awesome. So
yeah, thanks. It was fun. Cool. It's been a lot of fun.
So now that you've had these businesses, you're growing up and you start a family, why has your family been an integral part of being a business owner?
So Jody, we cut out just a little bit right there. Well, can you repeat the question?
Okay. So now that you've had these businesses, you have this entrepreneurial mindset, and and you grew up, you have a family now, right? Like how has being an entrepreneur, what has been, why has your family been an integral part of that and what you are trying to establish with your family as a business owner?
Jody, love that question. And it goes back to an answer I've kind of already given. I'm going to go back to my childhood again. I'm going to go back to while I grew up in a family that did not have money, what we did not lack was love. I mean, I grew up in a very loving home, wonderful Christian parents, showed me the value of hard work, showed me the value of being a loving mother and father. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a great home. However, the challenge was, I can remember throughout my entire childhood, my dad was at work way more often than he was able to be present in like our lives at sports or gymnastics or the school play or, all the other stereotypical things that kids do, right? And my dad wasn't able to be at a lot of those things because he was always working, trying to make enough money to pay the bills, to provide for the family, yada, yada, yada. And I just watched this vicious circle. And I made this, like, I remember, golly, this was probably somewhere about the time that I started getting serious and dating and relationships and whatnot started to matter, through in my college years probably. And I just made this determination that, like, no matter what, I don't care. I don't know what my life's going to look like. I don't know what I'm ultimately going to do. I'm certainly not going to be in lawn and landscape forever, but I didn't know what I was going to do next. I just made that determination that I will not sacrifice money for family, but I also was unwilling to be broke. So it was like this it was almost like the mental battle for a little while of how am I going to make sure that we're not broke? I don't like growing up broke, and I don't want my kids or anything having to grow up broke, but I also want to be present. So how in the world can we have an income that is sustainable, but also have a lifestyle where I get to be an active dad and husband and all the things, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying that entrepreneurship and your businesses have allowed you to have that balance and prioritize your family because of being able to manage your own time.
You know what? I'm glad that you put it that way because I don't know that that's the case. I actually have seen now that, especially today and for the last several years, I've been coaching a lot of entrepreneurs and I work with a lot of these independent business owners in the insurance space. And I watch more of them sacrificing family for the business. So entrepreneurship does not automatically mean money and time. In fact, you've heard it probably said, right? There's this funny little saying in the world of entrepreneurism that an entrepreneur is the person who works 80 hours a week to avoid working 40.
Right.
I hate that saying. I despise it. Now, are there times in our business that as entrepreneurs, we have to grind it out and we have to hustle and we've got to really, really put the time in the, yeah, of course there are times, but this is one of the reasons why, and I'm not going to attack Gary Vee, but it's one of the reasons I am not a Gary Vee follower. I do not like the grind, hustle, grind, hustle, grind, hustle mentality. I think that can do more damage to young entrepreneurs not understanding that there is a season to grind and hustle, but you better be building your business. And it all starts with mindset. I made the mental decision that my business would equip me for my lifestyle. I cannot have a mental decision that I'm going to have a business so that hopefully I get to have a lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, very much. I love that.
So bottom line point is, I think, I encourage my tribe to do this all the time. I would encourage your tribe. They've got to make the mental decision first. I choose to be an entrepreneur, and then fill in the blank, right? I'm going to be the best stinking father I can be. I'm going to be the best husband I can be. I'm going to be the best lover that I can be. I'm going to be the best human being that I can be. Oh, by the way, I happen to be an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Not, I'm an entrepreneur so I can do all those things.
Yeah. I love that. That's really the essence of what, like, my journey. That's my message. Thank you for summarizing that so well, so clear. I'm like, I have nothing to add. Thank you. No, that's
interview over. We'll see you later.
Okay, have a good night. But no. Well, I love that because it's so true. It's so true. I think that, when there's that quote, right, that no other success will compensate for failure within the home, right? That it's like we have to put our families first, and doing the business, grow, being successful shouldn't be canceling out those priorities. It should be that it's allowing you to have those priorities and have that freedom.
Amen. That's it. Yeah. That's it. That's all it boils down to.
Cool. Well, the last question that I want to ask in this section of the interview then is, how would you describe the legacy that you're trying to build with your family as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, the legacy for my family.
For your family. Yeah. So what is your family legacy? What is the legacy that, when you're grown up, your kids are grown up, what do they look back and want to remember about Dad?
Man, I love that. Family legacy. I tell you, there's one thing one thing my dad instilled in me, and I think he got it from his dad, my Papa Harlow, who went home to be with Jesus many, many, many years ago. But I have this old placard. It's about that big. It's, 3 inches by 5 inches or something. I said that big, like your people on podcasts would know what I'm doing.
If you just come watch the video, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like, about the size of a postcard. And what it says is, it says Harlow engraved at the top, Harlow, which is our family last name. And it basically says, Grandpa, my papa gave it to my dad, who ended up giving it to me. And it basically just says, hey, I don't have much to give you. All I really have to give you is our last name. Protect it, cherish it, and make it that what you will. And, that has always really, really stuck with me, that my papa and my dad, they didn't have money per se. They didn't have political influence. They didn't have a last name that when you saw it, you're like, oh my gosh, the Rockefellers, they must be so important, right? We were just a West Texas country family. But that last name means something to me. And as I'm building our business, and we are in the process of quite literally changing our family tree from a financial aspect. And my kids are growing up very different financially than I ever did. And really for us, my wife and I talk about this all the time. We talked about it before we had kids, is the intentionality at which we are approaching how we raise our kids and making sure that they understand, yes, we are blessed. We have built a really great business that has done very well financially because we serve our clients incredibly well. All on the foundational principle, though, that at the end of the day, while the sales ninja may be the brand, Harlow is the last name. Wow. And so the legacy that I want to leave for my kids is when they look back, they're like, man, Dad Zak is not only not only did he give us a great childhood, not only did we have his last name, and not only did we grow up in a blessed household and got to give back and serve and enjoy some finer things in life, but man, I want them to have that legacy of giving back and understanding that. I want them to understand the actual principle that money follows value, and that when you pour into other people and when you provide value into the marketplace and when you are building things that the market rewards, money follows that. It is a result of something positive given, not something to be hoarded and not something to be greedy. I mean, at the end of the day, I want my kids to fully understand that money amplifies a person's heart. Money, that's all. It just, that's it.
Yeah.
It takes people who are incredibly selfish and incredibly greedy, and all of a sudden, if they end up with a lot of money, all they are is an incredibly greedy, incredibly selfish person who has a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But the same is also true that you can take somebody who has absolutely no money, but they have the biggest heart in the world, and they care and they love and they give sacrificially, right? And all of a sudden they come into money, and more often than not, especially if they have to earn that money, not win that money, but when they have to earn it, they tend to amplify. They tend to become even bigger givers and even bigger investors and even like, does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
That's what I want for my kids.
You want them to grow up believing that they have an impact to make, not
Absolutely.
just that they deserve it or that they're going to become greedy jerks. Yeah.
110%, Jody. That's it.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Zach. That concludes the first portion of our interview, but tell us where we can find you and connect with more of what you're doing, your tribe.
Yeah, the best way to connect with me if you're interested in sales training and sales coaching and the kind of stuff that I do in the world of sales and entrepreneurism, probably just connect with me on Facebook. You can go to literally my public page is the Sales Ninja 1. If you just type in the Sales Ninja 1, it'll pull me right up. I'm there, public page. And then we've got, some groups and stuff that we do beyond that. But the best way, Sales Ninja 1 on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zach. That was awesome. Thank you so much for listening. But I have to tell you that this is just the beginning. There is more to this episode inside of my Facebook group. I hope that you'll go and request to join that community because it's awesome. There's more podcast content that's exclusive to the group. There's also giveaways, live Q&As, and you can come and ask questions and take part in this awesome community. So please come and request to join at facebook.com/groups/familyculture-strategies. You can also find my page on Facebook at facebook.com/familyculturepodcast. And I'm at Instagram in the same handle, Family Culture Podcast. So I hope you'll come and follow me there and join in this movement to create an intentional family culture around being entrepreneurial and integrating and prioritizing your family as you grow your business. So come and join me there. I hope to see you there. You can also come find my website at ourmodernheritage.com. Thank you so much. And remember that if you want to change the world, go home and love your family.